Everybody, this is Brian. Welcome to Chiller Night Live, where from 8 p.m. Eastern Time until 9 o'clock, we'll be talking about all things horror, science fiction, paranormal. You pick the topic, we'll make a show out of it. Stephanie says, hey y'all. Hey Stephanie, thanks for joining us. Dominic says, welcome back, Brian. Well, thank you, Dominic. Thanks for being here. Let me know if the sound is okay. I was doing a lot of messing around with some stuff here, or moving around and stuff with the equipment. So let me know if you can hear me okay. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let me know. In the meantime, I'll just keep rattling along. But yeah, good to be back. I couldn't make it last week because I was actually out of town. I was in Harrisburg for most of the week, renewing my... Oh, I got some... Thank you, Stephanie, for the thumbs up. Had to go there for my state certification, inspector's recertification. So Dominic says sound is good. Awesome, awesome. So I had to be there for several days. Paul says, hey there, Chiller family. How is everyone doing tonight? Mom and I are good. Miss you last week. Were you sick? How? No, I wasn't sick. I was doing well. I just don't like to... I only like to say I was out of town after I come back. So, I'm going to plug this. It's sounding a little... I'm getting a little bit of a feedback here. Hopefully you can still hear me okay. But... yeah, when I leave town, I don't like to say I'm going to leave town until I come back. So, but everything was good. I was doing fine, but I appreciate your asking about that, Paul. Thanks for joining us. SBC says, hello, everyone. Hey, SBC, thanks for joining us. D says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, D. Thanks for joining us. Paul says, how is Ava? Ava's doing very well. She's very tired. I think she's probably sleeping right now because she was up like all night and then had a very busy day. So I think she's getting some Z's right now. Good on sound, he says, thank you. Dominic says, hello all and happy Chiller Tuesday. Happy Chiller Tuesday, I like that. Paul says, the sound is great. Awesome. Yeah, I wasn't sure because after I got back, I was trying to, I was messing around with some of the equipment and I was trying some different cameras. So I wanted to make sure I get everything set up again the correct way. Because sometimes, oh Lord knows, I'm not always doing that. Paul says sound is great. Awesome. Bonehead's got some eyeballs showing. Thanks for joining us, Bonehead. Paul says, visiting a sick friend right now. Oh, you're visiting. Okay. You're visiting a friend right now. Well, I wish them a speedy recovery. You let them know that we hope they get well soon. But if we can give them maybe an hour to kind of forget any negativity and just... have a big dumb fun hour. That's what we're here for anyways. So yeah, we got some good things coming up. I'll tell you what, this is my 20-year anniversary, folks, of being the man, the myth, the legend, Jack Shadow. 20 years, my 20-year anniversary of Jack Shadow's House of Terror. Well, the House of Terror, my haunted house. Okay, it's going. I guess it has gone over through a few names over the years, but it'll be 20 years. In 2006 is when I opened up my very first haunted house, and that's when Jack Shadow made his first appearance. So I'm coming up on 20. This is my 20th year, so that's pretty cool. And it's kind of interesting because this is going to be the big guy's probably busiest year. I got a lot I'm trying to get done, which brings me to my next thing. We'll put you away here. pop. All right, so John says the weather may vary from it's always a cool place to be tonight. It's Tuesday night and time again for Chiller Night Live. This is your unique and unofficial introduction, hype man. I like that, by the way. Crozak the Grand, and now here's what you've been waiting for over a week now. Here's your host, Bryan Hogue. Thank you, Crozak the Grand. Always appreciate your intros there. Paul says, Ava was visiting a sick friend, right? No, she had some doctor appointments that she was getting some family to. So SBC says, so kinda. SBC says, I had a stressful day today. My neighbor is getting on my nerves. I'm always looking forward to an hour of relaxing, chill fun. Very good. Well, we're glad you're here. That's what we're here for. To chill. To just chill. Be a chiller night. Yeah, we're glad that you are here with us. John's giving me a 100% emoji there. Stephanie says, I'm on vacation this week. Ah, very cool. You going anywhere, or is it more of a staycation? Those are really nice. Dee's giving me the Jack Shadow little emoji hands there. Paul says, T minus 2 months and counting. I really can't wait until May 2nd. Ah, about that. I was about to say, but it's for a good reason. I'm actually working on a parallel project with Chiller Night Theater. Okay, we're going to have 20 episodes. All right, instead of the 26 that I had originally planned. 20 is still a lot. That's still more than I've ever done in any year. So we will start now. The new start date will be June 20th. So I'm sorry, but it's going to be the next month. Yeah, I could do the extra 6, well actually 7. I could do the extra ones, but I really am excited about this other project I'm working on. I don't want to say anything yet because I want to make sure I can do it first of all. And but it's so much fun. I'm very excited about it. I started dabbling with it a little bit. So, but that's still a lot of episodes. So we'll be running from June until Halloween night, and I have the episodes wrote except for the one on Halloween night. So I need some help. If you guys can think of something. Now, I was looking at some of these that you guys have said, Satanic Rites of Dracula. Dominic, I think, had suggested that one. That one I would love to do, but that one YouTube is real weird about. Shockwave, somebody suggested. Don't Look in the Basement. Voodoo Man. Those are some of the public domain movie, or we were going to check to see if those are public domain. But if you can think of a really cool Halloween episode, I'm all ears, because that's the only one that is not complete yet. Because I wanted to just, wait a little bit. Well, I got time. I got time for that one. Hope you enjoy your vacation. Have a wonderful time, Miss Stephanie. Yeah. Paul says, I meant you were the sick friend. Me? I'm alarmingly healthy. Most of the time. SBC, or Dominic says, SBC, maybe you can scare your neighbor into moving like they would do in the old Scooby-Doo cartoons. Just a thought. Yes. Let's see. Staycation, Stephanie says. Dee says, I missed the Chiller crew last week. So did I. I was just, went down and I was in classes all day long for, 3 days I was down there taking different classes. So, but I got that out of the way. Thank goodness it's only once every 3 years for that certification. But, Paul says, how long does it take to prepare a show? That's a good question. I guess I never really thought about it. I'll tell you what's involved. I mean, it takes a while. A while. That's kind of subjective, isn't it? But you know, there's once I pick the movie, I have to I figure out the time. I divide it up in the fours, or if it's a really short movie, only 3 segments, depending. Divide it up, time appropriate. Watch it. I gotta watch it. Which I say that like it's a punishment. That's not the. I'm watching it to take my notes. You know, is there something to kind of capitalize on in this? You know, make a joke out of, or even you know, some of the dialogue, it's not even necessarily comedic. You know, sometimes I like to let Jack Shadow kind of remind folks who he is, you know, and not always be cutting up, but maybe a little creepy philosophical part of him shows every once in a while. And then that's the preparing part. And then there's the filming of it. And then there's the editing. The editing takes a while. The editing is you know, that takes a while. I'll tell you, the easiest way to do it, the quickest way, I should say, is probably doing them live. That was the quickest because there was no, it was right here, right now. It was a one and done, you know. There was no time for any second takes or anything. You know, that was kind of fun. I don't know that I can do any of those necessarily this time around. The scripts aren't really prepared that way, but I mean, can't stop. Never say never. Raymond says, Brian, SBC, Bonehead. Hey, Raymond. SBC says 20 million miles to Earth, but I don't know if that's in the public domain. I'll put it on the list to check. We will see. Can't hurt to look. Night of the Living Dead, Stephanie says. Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. We've done that one a couple times, but you can't go wrong on Halloween with Night of the Living Dead. Bunny says, hey, hello, Brian, the ChillerNight crew. Please pass along best wishes to Miss Ava. Hope everyone's Ian's is doing great. Ah, thank you, Bonehead, and right back to you. Right back at you. Paul says, when do you get your diploma from night school? From night school? Huh? What night school? Who are you talking? Or is somebody else in here taking night school? SBC says, YouTube showed the message too late last week, and I've been waiting and waiting. Oh no. Paul says, I can help you with Manos. I have a lot of knowledge on the movie. Yeah, there you go. How do you do SBC Cinema? How's my sidekick? Paul says, Bonus says, hey Paul, hope you and your mom are doing great tonight. Yes. Let's see something. And all right, so that's what's going on right now. Busy year. Got a busy year. But I think it's going to be a fun year. I'm a little yeah, there's so much going on. There's so much going on. Plus the Roku channel, the ChillerNight Roku channel. I'd like to get that, I'd like to make that into a thing. So we'll see. I have the channel. It's just a matter of putting it together now. So we'll see how that goes. A lot going on, and the classes you were taking, Paul says, I have the certificate. I mean, I was certified before I left Harrisburg. Took it with me, took a little piece of paper with me. Let's see. Manos for Halloween. Maybe we'll. I don't know about that. Let's see. All right, so the Roku, that would be cool, but don't forget. stream TV every Saturday night. You know, we don't have any new ones. We haven't had them. We had any new ones for a while. So, but we will. By golly, we're going to have a lot of new ones this year. Quite a bit of them. And so, yeah, I'm excited about that. I think it's going to be really cool to have at least now a 20-week stretch of every week is going to be a new episode. And I wanted to do the 26 episodes, but those extra 6, man, there's a lot that I'm trying to get done now. And I don't know how much of it I can get done, but I'm going to be working diligently and hopefully have something really cool. Maybe a couple months from now. So, but ChillerNight Theater, new episodes coming your way, and I think they're gonna be just groovy, by golly. Dominic says, Brian, have you decided if you will be doing a behind the scenes of getting ready for the show or not? I think I would like to do that. I would like to do that because I think that that would kind of open things up. I'm trying to get more online presence. So it's been really tough these last years because I was building an escape room, the escape rooms. I was always working on modifying the haunted house. I don't think I'm going to do, there's only one change I'm probably going to be making with the haunted house this year. Because I've got all this other stuff going on. So, but yeah, I think that would be a neat idea. So if I can make that happen, I definitely will. SBC says, is the first Sleepy Hollow in the public domain? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. But I found a lot of neat ones when I was going through the movies. Some that I think you guys are going to really enjoy. I enjoyed them. And I think you guys are going to have a good time this year with ChillerNight Theater, new episodes, Jack Shadow. SBC says, oh, read that one. Ravencroft says, hey, everyone. Hey, Ravenscroft, 82. Thanks for joining us. Paul says, I love my Chiller family. Come up on the 3-year anniversary of my dad passing March 23rd. You guys got me through some tough times. Thank you. Oh, we're glad we could be here for that. Really am. I know that, it's nice to have something like this to look forward to. Like I said, nobody, just forget about everything. Just come here for an hour, do our little chiller chat, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And sometimes it's fun to have a topic. So be thinking about what the topic is. Maybe we can have a topic for next week. Even if not, this is fun too. But yeah, it's just nice to have just a little escape, which is what ChillerNight Theater is, and the haunt and the escape rooms and all that good stuff. Oh, speaking of that, might as well. Zombie Outbreak at ChillerNight. That is a 1-hour escape room. If you are interested in trying that out, you can either call 814-209-8214, or you can book online at ChillerNight.com. And the Witching Hour, yes indeed, the Witching Hour. Also, 1-hour escape room at ChillerNight. And Thursday nights, by appointment only, is our half-off night for Zombie Outbreak and the Witching Hour. So you need 4 people to play that one though, because I'm not driving all the way in for 2 people. I'm sorry. At least give me 4 folks. At $13 an hour, we can get 4 people. So so there you have it. What else did we have? Oh, Display Haunt, of course, is there. But I'll tell you what, I've been doing less of the store. I'm actually kind of changing it to appointment only, because I've been I've been there like every Saturday unless the weather is hazardous. I don't drive. I don't put 80 miles on my vehicle in freezing rain, but or you know Hoth-like snow conditions or freezing temperatures. I just because unfortunately the Cranberry Mall, a place that I grew up, I've loved that place, but it's no secret, and I'm not saying anything with intent to be derogatory in any way. I mean, I have my store there, my business is there, but I'm one of the few stores left. There's not much going on there, and I hope that changes. But the reality is, for me to go in, and sit all day for walk-through traffic is not really going to happen anymore. There's not really walk-through traffic anymore there. So I'm changing that more for appointment only. So, and I might just get all the items and merchandise from the store and sell them online. Oh, and we do have an online store open and available. I have some tweaking to do on that. We have an online part that's drop shipping, and also customized like shirts and stuff. And Jason Bates, if you're on here tonight at some point, or if you watch this later, thank you very much for your support and purchase of items from that. And also, I'm just going to open up the physical store to part of it online as well, so that we can start selling some of the merchandise from the store. Maybe I'll even have a little put them here so you can see what we got. But we'll see how that goes. SPC says the new episodes are what I'm mostly look forward to this year. Awesome. Thank you. Me too, SPC. Bonin says, I know what you mean, Paul. This most excellent group, the ChillerNight crew and Bryan, has got me through some real bad times too. Oh, that's very cool. Very cool. Glad we could be here. Just a fun hour of the week. Glad you guys look forward to it. So do I. John says, hey, John, thanks for joining us. Hi, it's me, John Neal, Mr. Lucasfilm. Yeah. I heard that Lucasfilm Prez was replaced recently. Yeah. I had, back when that was going on, I had a picture of Kathleen Kennedy, and I put one of these through it. So, unfortunately, I don't have the picture of Kathleen Kennedy to put up through there. But, yes, couldn't have happened soon enough. I'm glad she's gone. Did a lot of damage. Kids. Dominic says, I know this movie on YouTube is on YouTube, but Bryan, have you done the Witchfinder General with Vincent Price? It's a really good movie. No, I'll write that down. And I'll have to double check just to make sure it is public domain, because some of the stuff that's on YouTube is not public domain, and I don't know how they're on there. Let's see, Witchfinder General, Vincent Price. Oh, that would be cool. That would be really cool. All right, I gotta write down Vincent Price here. Oh, don't forget, we're on TikTok also, ChillerNight. Now, for the last week, I've not been on hardly at all. I've just been so running around trying to get everything done. But I'm getting back into a routine. Plus everything at my real work, my job, my livelihood, my occupation for now, is there's a lot going on there, lots and lots. So I've just been a little busy. So this is kind of nice for me too, this little break away from the real world. Bonin says, Paul, you have my deepest sympathies and condolences. Yes, I lost all my family and some good friends over the years, and it never gets easy or lessens the pain of loss. No. No, no, it doesn't. That's for sure. But hopefully we can just, that's all we can do is just be here for each other, which is a lot. It really is. So Brad says, didn't you at one time interview the Mass Superstar Bryan? I did. Oh, yes, I did. The Mass Superstar was, it's funny because up north he wasn't a big name, but down south in the Southern Territories, the Mass Superstar, that was such a, he was always in the wrestling magazines as in the 10 most hated category. You know who also was in the 10 most hated categories when I was a kid growing up in the 70s was a wrestler, I don't know if you've ever heard of him, named Hulk Hogan. Yeah, that's right. Hulk Hogan used to be a heel for quite a while. Starting out, he was a heel. That's the bad guy in wrestling terminology, vernacular. And the Masked Superstar. In fact, I have his mask. He gave me a mask of his and a certification of authenticity to show that it's a real Masked Superstar mask. So one of my most cherished treasures, and I can see it now. Actually, I have it I have it mounted on a mannequin's head. So it's pretty neat. Yeah. He was so cool. And some of you might know him as the Axe. There was Axe and Smash from Demolition, Tag Team Demolition. So, but he was the Masked Superstar. For me, he was my favorite bad guy growing up in wrestling. D says, never mind. Alice, Sweet Alice regained its copyright in 1997. Ah, okay. Brian says, hello. Hey, Brian. Thanks for joining us, Brian Ivers. But it says, anyone here from Tom Paisley lately? I hope he's okay. I haven't not heard from him. It's been a couple weeks, hasn't it? Sometimes people come and go and they get busy. And Dominic says, Chiller Crew, don't forget to hit the like button. Let's spread that love. Yeah, don't forget. I keep forgetting to say that. So thank you. I mean that. Thank you for the reminder. Yes, absolutely. Brett says, hi, Brian. Hey, Brett, thanks for joining us. SBC says, do we actually have a topic today? No, there was none. At least not anything that I remember from 2 weeks ago. I don't remember if we actually picked one. I don't think we did. So be thinking. Get them wheels a turning. We got half an hour. If anybody wants to throw something up, by all means, throw something up. Oh, that didn't sound good. Stephanie says, last week my mom and I celebrated my late dad's birthday. It was emotional. I know the feeling. Ah, yes. Yeah, that time, those anniversaries of losing somebody can be rough. Absolutely. But it says, please, everyone give a big shout out to Miss Glamfangs and wish her the best wishes. I really miss her being on this get together. Hopefully one day, Brian, we'll do a Saturday night show and she can come. Yeah, you never know. You never know. John says Kathleen worked for Spielberg. Yeah, yep. She worked for Spielberg and then she was given the keys to the kingdom. And you may wonder how in the world somebody could screw up being handed such a, basically the golden goose. But Kathleen Kennedy said, hold my beer, and showed us what incompetence was truly all about. Yep. Ravencroft said, she killed Star Wars for sure. It ended up on Endro? Endro? Yeah, she did. Yeah. Paul says, thank you. Says Stephanie, love you. Endor, sorry. Okay, Endor. All right, LOL. I was like, what? What's Endro? Jason says, good evening. Last 2 weeks of Cornhole. We'll be back soon. Hey, Jason, thanks for joining us. And I mentioned you a little bit earlier. I was talking about the store. So thank you for the purchase of the merchandise. through the store and for your continued support. Very much appreciate that. That's very cool. And I see everything is shipped out. It's a new process for me, this drop shipping and stuff. So it's that part of it's a little. In fact, I've never done that before, so that part of it's different. It really is. But I hope to add all the physical merchandise from the store also available, but it'll be on a different page, so I keep them separate. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I'll put them on the same page. Maybe I'll just get crazy and do that. Probably will, actually. In fact, I don't even know what I'm still thinking about. I'm just going to do it. Love you too, Paul, the superhero known also as Manos Man. Manos Man. Paul says, can you please play Manos Returns? It played on Tubi. Oh, you gotta watch that stuff though, because you never know. There's stuff on YouTube that is playing that shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be. In fact, I'll look right now just to let's see. What is it? Manos Returns. I don't typically like to type while I'm doing a show, so but in this case, I'll make an exception. Manos. This won't take long, but a moment. All right, just kind of henpecking these with my thumb. Oh, this is, see, it didn't play the one I asked about. It took me back to Manos, the Hands of Fate. Now that's not what I was asking you. All right, well we'll check again later. I don't want to spend too much time typing. Ravencroft, didn't hear who passed, but I'm very sorry, Brian. Some folks were talking about their. I appreciate that. Yeah, some folks were talking about some of their loved ones passing, and some of them even found a little bit of solace in the show and with each other, and just something to look forward to. But thank you, Hugh P9949. I'll call you Hugh. But thanks for joining us, Hugh. Look forward to new Jack Shadow episodes. Thank you very much. As do I. I'm looking forward to getting some more shows. That's going to be a lot of episodes. I wanted to do, like I said, my every intention was to do 26. But like I said, another project I'm working on that really appealed to me came up. I don't want to mention it yet. I'm trying my best not to sound like but I just to let you know, I am working on something else simultaneously. So projects are kind of running parallel with each other, and because of that, and only because of that, instead of 26 episodes, I'll be doing 20. So we'll be starting up now. I think it's on June 20th will be the new relaunch day. But that will be every Saturday night from June 20th until Halloween night. So that's a lot of episodes. That's more than I've ever done in 1 year before. So Jack Shadow is going to be very busy. But it says, Brian, Miss Clam Fangs would absolutely love your shirt. She's our favorite spider for sure. Oh, that's right. Yeah, with the spider, the little tarantula on the skull here. My Midwest Haunters convention that Ava and I used to go to quite a bit when they had it in Columbus, Ohio. That was nice. Every June, we'd go for a couple days. They had a big, huge convention at the Columbus Center. And it was for haunt owners, and it was really cool. Big trade show. So, and they would even open up local haunts for us, and we'd go and go through them. It was really, really cool. Let's see. Dominic says, Mass Superstar Bill Eadie is being finally inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year as Acts of Demolition with his tag team partner Smash. That's very cool. I'm really happy to hear that. That is very cool news. Yeah, he was always one of my favorite. He really was. Like, that was why I was glued to the TV, the Georgia Championship Wrestling on Saturday evening at 6:05 p.m. That was so fun. What a neat time that was in the early 80s watching the wrestling before it became the it's everybody's to each his own, but now it's the big Vegas show. But back then it was like the old rough and tumble. It was just they can't bring that back. I get that, but man, that was just a lot of fun, and it was all just a build up for their events, like at the Omni and in Columbus, Ohio. We used to go to Columbus, the Columbus Center, the same place we used to go to the trade shows at the Midwest Connors Convention. That's where we used to go to watch wrestling. And I've seen the Mass Superstar wrestle several times in person. So, and like I said, he was one of my favorites. He was just absolutely one of my favorites. It was so cool, seeing Andre the Giant, Dusty Rhodes, and all those big names back then. But to see them live, at these events was just absolutely amazing. But that's really cool. I'm glad to hear that. Bill Eadie was an awesome wrestler no matter what character he portrayed. Yeah. Ravencroft said, when I was a kid, the bad wrestler was Mad Dog Bacon. Bacon? I don't know if I'm saying that right. Oh yeah? Brad says, I'm not familiar with him. When I was a kid, and I don't know I don't know a lot of your ages, but when I watched wrestling, it was like in about the mid '70s to the early '80s. That was my heyday, the golden age of wrestling for me, anyways. And then I stopped. I'll tell you, I've said this before. I stopped watching it before, or maybe around the same time Hulk Hogan started to become a face, a good guy, the baby face. So that gives you maybe some indication of how long ago I was a wrestling fan, many moons ago. But Brett says, but not as awesome as awesome wrestler. Now that I should have seen that coming, Brad. You actually, this is the one time I didn't see your segue into, but not as awesome as when the 1931 horror films Dracula and Frankenstein coming to the public domain this January. That's right. I'm sure Jack Shadow will be very happy. SBC says, what are those gas prices like where you're at? Here it's currently over to, not sure what symbol that is. Here it's still, we where I'm at, it's over $3 a gallon. So topic for next week, cryptids. All right. Let me write that down. And that will be for next week. Next week topic. There we go. All right. Thank you, Paul. We got a topic. But it says, well, Brian, last year, Miss Renee Cruz disappeared. Unfortunately, it's looking like Tom Paisley has gone missing as well. Yeah, sometimes it's like the Bermuda Triangle of Cyberland out there. Sometimes we miss some people. Lasercorn? Now I know PBR Street Gang, or Street Fighter, I forget his name. I just always say PBR. Street Gang, I think is. He comes and goes. Lasercorn, he'll be going for long periods of time. Then he'll pop in every once in a while. Yeah, sometimes that happens. John says, if anyone is interested, jazzing diorama. Jazz Inc. Dioramas is now taking pre-orders for official release of Catwoman from the classic 1966 TV series. Available in standard, deluxe, ultimate, deluxe, signed versions. Also available as Batman from the Batman animated series. More details on the website at jazzincdioramas.com. And John has provided a link there if anybody wants to check that out. Very cool. Thanks for sharing that, John. Let's see. Stephanie says, hi, you miss Glam Fang. So Glam, if you watch us later, hello. We miss you. Brett says, will you be at the mall anytime? I don't know. I had somebody calling asking about booking the escape room, so we'll see if I get any bookings. If not, I probably won't be there for a while unless I have appointments, just because there's really no walkthrough traffic anymore, so I end up going out there and sitting all day. So but I'm a little bit more, I'm more inclined these days to go out there for appointments only. So I'm not sure though, Brett, when the next time I'll be out there. Hopefully not long. Hopefully I get some bookings maybe this week. D says, Driller Killer 1979, a public domain movie. That's a good question. Let me look. Would that be a good Halloween one? That's what because I have 19 episodes already like in the chamber, so I need one left for Halloween night. We'll see. Maybe Driller Killer. I'll check it out. AKA Bigfoot and Manos. Paul says, on that Manos. Stephanie says, I got a topic. Best scary movies to watch at a slumber party. Well, I think you ladies would be able to come up with some of those. Let's see. or guys, if I don't, expect you to call it a slumber party. Maybe you've stayed overnight at a friend's house, a buddy's house. Not judging here. If you and your fellow guys, participated in a slumber party, then what movie did you watch? So we'll say best scary movies. Yes. To watch at a slumber party. Or sleepover. We'll just say slumber party, sleepover, yeah. Alright. And we'll do that one now the week after we do the cryptids. Alright, so that was Stephanie's. So we'll put a 1 here and a 2 by Stephanie's. Alright, we're getting some topics here. But it says, well, his real name is Joseph, but you know him, or Joseph, but you know him better by his ring name, LOL. Who's that? I missed it. Paul says, love you, Brian. Thanks for looking it up. Not a problem. Well, I still have to. I still have to. I'll get back to that because that one, that pulled up the original Manos movie. And it's like, we're not looking for that one. We already know that one. Paul says, hey there, family. Got to go help Mom. Get ready for bed. See you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Be safe out there. My beautiful Chiller family. Love you. I'm out. All right, Paul. You and your mom have a very good night. And thanks for joining us tonight. Bunny says, yeah, Brian, she's my favorite spider. And she said, I'm her favorite skull. They're both together on your shirt. Ah, that's right. Mighty cool. Yes. Jason says, Georgia Championship Wrestling was the best. Yeah, absolutely. Jason says the end of every promo was "Be there." Yeah, remember the announcer Gordon Soley. There was never be another Gordon Soley. Um, SPC. Are there any Western horror films? Oh yeah. Do you want to do Western horror films after that? We could do these 3 weeks out. Got to get my script. I'm a pen and paper kind of guy. All right, so we got cryptids. We're gonna do these, folks. We'll do them. We'll do them in order. We'll get them all done here. Okay, today's the 10th, so 17th is cryptids. 24th is the sleepover. We'll sleep over. I'm laughing just because, like, the slumber party thing. I'm sure, like, half the guys like, oh, I didn't go to a slumber party. But you can still participate. Yeah, if you went over to your buddy's house, probably watching Friday 13th or something cool like that. And then we got on 3/31 Western horror movies. All right, I say we're doing pretty good here. SBC, Stephanie, and Paul. All right, cool. We got some topics lined up. Lined up, folks. Very cool. But it says, see you next week, Paul. Best wishes to you and your mom. Dominic says, Brian, the online shop is listed on your website, right? More stuff will be added as you get items in, I'm guessing. Yes, that is just in its initial incubation stage. I'm still, as soon as I can get in there to add more items, I will do that. But yeah, absolutely. Brett says, Lumberjack LaRue. Yeah, I think no, today's not his birthday. I just saw his birthday coming up or something. That's what made me think of him a little bit earlier. Yeah, Lumberjack LaRue. He was my Dark Horse Championship Wrestling. He was one of my heavyweight champions when I had Dark Horse Championship Wrestling on WICU out of Erie. We did that show. It was a weekly professional wrestling show. We did that for about 2 years. Yeah, basically, yeah. 2 years I did that show. What the heck haven't I done? You know. Ravencroft says, VA Sean is the way to pronounce the name. Oh, Vashon. He'd fight the Crusher, Vern Gagne, etc. This was early 70s. Oh, okay. Well, that would be back in my time, but I don't necessarily remember that one. Unless I saw him. Maybe that would jar my memory. D says, I went to the Civic Arena to watch WWF Andre the Giant, Rowdy Roddy Piper. I always referred to it as testosterone soap opera, LOL. Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. Brad says, yes, Axe, Masked Superstar, and Smash are going to the WWE Hall of Fame this year. That is awesome. That is very cool. Ravencroft said, cryptids rock. John says, replying to Brett, one of my favorite wrestlers is Mr. Wrestling #2. Yeah, that was my favorite. Actually, you brought up a good, Mr. Wrestling #2's rival with the Masked Superstar. If you ever saw my interview with the Masked Superstar, it was a Chiller Chat, and I also had it on Keystone Championship Wrestling, KCW. I don't know why my mind just went blank there because I was trying to remember. Yeah, I had it on that channel, and I also had it on a episode of Sleepy Hollow Theater. But I talked to him about that rivalry he had with Mr. Wrestling #2 and the Masked Superstar. It was a big rivalry at Georgia Championship Wrestling. And it was so cool because it was so intense. If you get a chance, watch my interview with him. And this is, it was just so cool. Watching that as a kid, like, one would take the other's mask off on TV and the other would, run out and get his mask. You never saw their faces. They were always able to hide their face. But man, that was just, that was like the best time in wrestling. That was so fun to watch at. And it was exciting. Yeah, Mr. Wrestling #2. Brett says, God bless those U.S. troops who are dealing with the Iran issue. Yes, absolutely. Bonehead says, yep, Lasercorn and PBR Street Gang ain't been around lately either. Right. Bonehead says, Brian, your prior military like me, do you kind of wish you could be young and being in the fight again? I wish I could still serve, but I'm too old and I've had my time, LOL. I think about that sometime. I think about, I don't know, to me, between that and then my time as a police officer, I think it's okay that I'm a little bit more office bound these days, just because I was, a couple weeks ago I was wrestling. I was like a kid. I'm 57 and I'm out here wrestling with my stepson. He's 22. Very high-strung, spirited young man, and we're wrestling. I was like, what the heck was I thinking? So I ended up pulling getting a slip rib from it. It's very painful. If you've never had one. In fact, it was I think it was about 3 weeks ago. It happened right before I came in to do a show, and I could barely breathe. But I didn't. I hit it well, and every time I took a breath, it was just like someone was stabbing me with a knife. And then when I would go to even like pick something up or even grab the door, it would pop. It would slip and pop again. And man, it was so painful. So I'm at the age, I guess I'm starting to recognize my maturity. Rest, I don't know how mature that was, but jeez. Yeah, I'm okay. Good memories though. Good memories. But yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. Sometimes there's a little bit of a chomping at the bit. Like when I first got into my job I do now, that was a tough transition for me because I mean, really, literally, the month before I left, I was on the night shift, and I know there were I was in two different foot pursuits, and two different, consequently, physical restraint incidents. So, and I enjoyed the job. And when I went to an office environment, I just felt like, I don't know, I feel like I should be chasing somebody. Shouldn't I be tackling something? I don't know. It was, to everything there is a season. I'll leave it at that. But I know what you mean. Ravencross says, SBC, there are several horror westerns, including The Curse of the Undead, Billy the Kid versus Dracula, and Jesse James meets Frankenstein's daughter. We did that one, too, on ChillerNight Theater. The Jesse James meets Frankenstein's daughter. D says, Driller Killer, yep. Gosh, how far oh my gosh, I am so far behind. Let me, I'm sorry if I'm skipping some of your comments. I'm sorry, I'm seeing some of these. They would have been good ones. Billy the Kid versus Dracula with John Carradine is a really good, silly Western horror movie. Dominic says, yeah. Bonus says, whatever it was, I didn't do it. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. Yep. Tarantula isn't in the public domain. Oh, okay, I thought you were going to say it was. I sparked my interest there. Let's see. Let's see. Kevin says, good evening, Brian and everyone. Hey, Kevin, thanks for joining us. I didn't realize it was this. I didn't realize the hour was almost up, and I didn't realize I was falling that far behind. Brett says the things parents do. Yeah, Brett was out there. He was at Josh. I had to have Josh. I don't know if Josh is with you, Josh and Lester, but I had to have Josh actually lift my gate to the store. I couldn't. Well, I take that back. I lifted it, and the rib popped again. So it slipped, and it was like, oh man. So I had to have him help me close it, I think, at the end of the night. So that's how bad it was. It was bad. It's still healing, but it's not near as bad. I'm recovering, not quite the young whippersnapper I used to be. John says, and once again, you have been part of the Chiller Night Live program for another Tuesday night with Bryan Hogue. This is Crozak the Graham reminding you that we have another Friday the 13th coming up. I know! That's very cool. Until next week, stay chilled and keep thrilled. Awesome. We have another topic, big bug movies. Where? Who thought of that one? Who said big bug movies? I like to give credit where credit's due. All right, big bug movies. Someone let me know who suggested that one. We'll do that one coming up in April. Or did you think of that, SBC? SBC, that's an awesome topic. Ravencroft said, well, thanks for your service, Brian, both in military and as police officer. Oh, thank you, Ravencroft. And to Bonehead as well for his time in the Marine Corps. Thank you very much. With all veterans as well. But thank you, Ravencroft. Patty says, sorry, I'm late. We just had a rush on 55-inch TVs for $100 here, and it just got real quiet after saying 25. So stay safe, all. Wow, yeah, I could see that happening. Well, thanks for joining us, Patty. But it says, well, thank you and all the Chiller Night crew and Brian for another great show. Awesome, thank you. Ravencroft said, take care, everyone, and have a great remainder of the week. Later, Brian. Yes. Not Kate late. Yep, I knew. Sometimes I just fill in what I think is the right word, but let's see. Thanks again, Brian. Bennett says, God's blessings all. Thank you for your service, y'all. Stephanie says, very cool. Bennett says, SBC suggested. SBC, okay, all right. SBC. There we go. That's a neat one. All right, folks, it is 9 o'clock. This hour goes so quick. It's a fun hour, but by golly, it sure is a fast one. So, all right, next week, don't forget. And that's St. Patrick's Day, too, the 17th. But if you're not out drinking your green beer, or if you're in watching and drinking your green beer, don't forget, next Tuesday's topic will be cryptids. So thank you, Paul, for that recommendation. And thank you for joining me and each other for another Chiller Night Live. Have a good night. Have a good Chiller Night. We'll see you next